A lesson in the forest. A young monkey had been born and raised deep in the forest, spending most of his early years safely by his mother's side. But over time, despite his mother's constant warnings, he started wandering off on his own. He was curious and brave, but lacked the experience to understand the dangers of the forest. His mom always told him, "You've got to be careful out there. The forest can be dangerous." But the young monkey never really listened. He thought he knew better and loved exploring new places. One day, while out wandering alone, the monkey didn't realize he was getting too far from home. He wasn't paying attention when a snake, hidden in the brush, saw him. The snake quickly slithered over to him. The monkey, distracted, was caught off guard, and the snake bit him. The monkey cried out in pain, collapsing to the ground as the poison quickly spread through his body. His mother, noticing he'd been gone too long, immediately got worried. She searched frantically, calling out for him. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she started to feel something was wrong. She followed the direction he'd gone, and after a while, she spotted him. He was lying there, trembling, while a stranger was kneeling beside him, carefully working on him. The stranger, a man who lived near the forest, was known for his knowledge of local plants and healing techniques. He had been passing through the area when he found the monkey. The mother rushed to her son's side, but the man reassured her, "Don't worry. I'm slowing down the poison with some plants I know. He'll be okay in a few minutes." The woman was using a mixture of herbs and plants to stop the poison from spreading further. Slowly, the monkey's breathing steadied, and his mother began to relax. She thanked the woman, asking, "How did you know what to do?" "I've been doing this for years. These plants work well on snake bites," the man replied calmly. After a few minutes, the monkey began to regain his strength. The woman looked at him seriously and said, "He's strong, but he needs to be more careful. He's old enough to understand the dangers out here." The mother nodded, looking at her son with a mix of concern and love. "I've tried telling him. He just doesn't listen," she said. The woman thought for a moment, then said, "You have to teach him. He needs to know the risks and how to stay safe. He can't just wander around without understanding what's out there." The mother thought about it for a while, then said, "Can you help him? Can you teach him?" The woman nodded. "I can help. He needs to learn, and I'll show him." Over the next few weeks, the woman worked with the young monkey. He taught him how to identify dangers, how to use the forest to his advantage, and how to stay out of trouble. The young monkey gradually became more aware of his surroundings, learning to be more cautious and listen to his instincts. Eventually, the woman returned the monkey to his mother. The young monkey was no longer the reckless creature he once was, had learned to be more mindful of the forest dangers. The mother watched proudly as her son returned, now wiser and more careful. "Thank you," the mother said, her voice full of gratitude. "I don't know what would have happened without you." "Don't mention it," the woman replied. "He's a strong one. Just needed to learn a few things." Years went by, and the young monkey grew into a strong and wise figure in the forest. He used the lessons he learned to help others and protect himself. He never forgot the stranger who had saved his life, and the lessons that had changed him. The forest, once a place of curiosity and danger, became a place where he now understood the importance of caution and respect. And so the young monkey grew, and with his new wisdom, he became an example to others in the forest, always remembering the day when a stranger saved his life and helped him see the world differently. Ruler of the skies. The first rays of the sun draped the snow-covered peaks in a golden cloak. On a jagged cliff at the mountain summit, an eagle with feathers gleaming like gold remained motionless. His name was Alcar. The sky was his homeland, the mountains his throne. He was one of nature's mightiest hunters, ruling from the heights. Hundreds of meters above the ground, the sharp gusts of wind caressed his wings as his keen eyes focused on the depths of the valley below. His gaze was filled with the patience of a hunter. Life in the valley flowed with serene tranquility. A herd of deer grazed, a fox prowled stealthily in search of prey, and rabbits darted about. But Alcar was patient. Hunting was not just instinct for him, it was an art. There were rules in nature. He had to act at the perfect moment. A single misstep could mean hunger, so he analyzed even the slightest movements with precision. Slowly, he spread his wings. His muscles were tense. Feeling the air currents, he adjusted his flight path. Then, like a shadow, he glided silently downward, from high above, moving ever so gently. He calculated even the smallest shift in his prey's movement. His muscles, talons, even the tips of his wings were under absolute control. Suddenly, a rustling figure in the bushes caught his attention. It was a large snake, its scales glistening in the sunlight, making it even more visible. Alcar had chosen his target. The size of the prey did not matter. The only thing that mattered was striking at the right moment. He tensed his wings, tightened his muscles, and dove at full speed. The wind roared in his ears like a storm. His talons clenched tightly, his body stretched like an arrow. The snake had noticed him, but it was too late. Like a bolt of lightning, Alcar struck the ground, sinking his talons into his prey. But the snake did not surrender easily. It coiled tightly, writhing in an attempt to escape. It lashed out with its venomous fangs, but Alcar was prepared. He beat his wings forcefully, harnessing the wind behind him, and lifted off. The sky offered him limitless freedom, but it also presented the harshest challenges. As he ascended above the valley, his eyes locked onto the distant cliffs. His nest was there, but he sensed a threat. Another eagle was approaching his territory. With a powerful flap of his wings, he surged forward, cutting off the intruder's path. The rival eagle met his gaze. A moment of silence, then a battle erupted at lightning speed. They circled, twisted, and clashed in the sky, each trying to outmaneuver the other. No matter how skillfully Alcar moved, his opponent was equally strong. But Alcar was known for his patience. He climbed higher, calculated the wind, and then suddenly dived straight down. His rival had not anticipated the maneuver. Caught off guard, the intruder retreated, vanishing into the depths of the valley. Alcar had won, but victory came with a price. His wings were exhausted, his breathing was rapid, yet the fire within him had not been extinguished. Clutching his prey tightly, he flew toward his nest. When he arrived, he found his young eaglets waiting eagerly, their hungry eyes fixed on him. As Alcar placed the prey before them, a sense of peace washed over him. Every day, he had to fight this battle for their survival. The sky was his domain, but the struggle for life never ended. He remained the ruler of the skies. He was a hunter. He had not succumbed to nature's harsh laws, rather. He had mastered them. The sky was his realm, the wind his ally. And today, once again, he had proven why he existed in this world. The hungry do not wait. They take action. At that moment, a proud cry echoed across the sky. It was the voice of the ruler of the skies, the declaration of freedom. As he soared into the horizon, he left behind only strength and glory. Every hunter eventually becomes the hunted. But today was not that day. Today, the ruler of the skies had once again shone brightly. The princess of the sky. The snow-covered forest slowly woke up with the first rays of morning light. The tree branches were heavy with snow, almost breaking under its weight. But in the depths of the forest, in a dark hollow between jagged rocks, a young brown bear clung tightly to her mother. The mother's name was Turkana, and her cub's name was Misha. Turkana was one of the strongest bears in the forest, but her soft gaze, filled with deep love for her cub, spoke of a different side. Turkana, with years of experience, knew even the most dangerous parts of the forest. But today, everything was different. She had willingly thrown herself into great dangers, determined to protect her cub. The tracks in the snow symbolized pursuit and battle. The day had just begun, with the first rays of the sun filtering through the trees, and Misha slept safely on her mother's back. Turkana, however, began to move through the forest cautiously. Suddenly, a scent reached her nose. A predator, a wild wolf, was nearing from the dark depths of the forest, and it was after her cub. Turkana slowly woke Misha from her sleep, wrapping her arms tightly around her. Misha's eyes were still sleepy, but there was something in her mother's gaze fear mixed with determination. Her mother knew that her cub was in danger. Turkana, with Misha on her back, began moving deeper into the forest. The cold air stung her face as she tried to control the anger burning inside her. She knew that for Misha to survive, she had to face the danger head-on. Step by step, she moved, careful with each step she took. Suddenly, the forest went silent. Snow covered the ground like a blanket. But then, the sounds erupted. A wolf pack's footsteps appeared in the snow. Turkana gritted her teeth and began to move faster. It was increasing, and she knew that for Misha to survive, she had to act. She reached a cliff's edge and stopped, looking at Misha as she closed her eyes. Yes, it was dangerous, but this was the path she had to take. She was ready to sacrifice her life for her cub. As the wolves approached, Turkana suddenly roared at them. Her legendary voice echoed through the depths of the forest. The wolves hesitated, but a mother's protection for her cub was not something that could be easily stopped. Turkana began to step back, slowly at first. Then, with a loud roar, she leaped into the wolf pack. The tension in the air was palpable as the wolves, caught off guard, started to retreat. But Turkana was exhausted. She slowly began to move back, taking Misha into her arms again, starting the long journey ahead. The strength inside her did not come from mere survival instinct. It came from her belief that she had to fight for her cub's future. After some time, they had distanced themselves from the wolves and other dangers, but Turkana's body was weary, and she was weak. Slowly, she sat down in the snow, looking at her cub with tears in her eyes. Misha, although too young to understand why her mother was so strong, grew safer with each passing moment, shielded by the power of her mother. Thus, once again, Turkana proved that she was the strongest mother in the forest. It had cost her greatly to ensure Misha's safety today, but it was worth it, because there was something more important than anything. Misha was safe, and as long as she was protected by her mother's mighty paws in the depths of the forest, she would survive. Motherhood, after all, was the strongest instinct in the entire wild world.